I killed a man with my bare hands that night. Not because he deserved it, hell. Maybe he did, but because the photo in my trembling fingers whispered a truth I'd buried deeper than his secrets. It was supposed to be just another shift scrubbing the marble floors of Victor Hale's penthouse. But when I pried open that locked drawer in his study, everything I'd built my life on cracked like cheap glass under a boot heel. And as his best friend choked out his last breath on the Persian rug, I realized the real monster wasn't the one dying, it was the girl staring back from that faded snapshot. Innocent and doomed from the start. New York City in 2025 doesn't give a damn about your backstory, it just chews you up and spits out the bones. I'd been Layla Voss for 28 years. The kind of nobody who fades into the wallpaper, scrubbing toilets for the 1% while dreaming of something more than minimum wage and a roach-infested walk-up in Hell's Kitchen. My mom raised me alone after Dad's accident when I was 3. A drunk driving crash that left her with a lifetime of bar tabs and me with a chip on my shoulder the size of the Holland Tunnel. She always said Dad was a good man. A mechanic from Queens who fixed engines better than he fixed his own life. But good men don't leave Polaroids like the one I found, me. Toddler-sized and gap-toothed. Sandwiched between him and Victor Hale, the billionaire tech mogul whose empire spanned from Silicon Valley algorithms to Wall Street whispers. Hale's arms slung around Dad's shoulders like they were blood brothers. But the look in his eyes, possessive, hungry, screamed something darker. I'd landed the cleaning gig at Hale Tower 6 months back through a temp agency that promised discreet, high-end opportunities. Discreet meant NDAs thicker than my mom's nursing scrubs, and high-end meant dusting Faberge eggs while ignoring the Coke residue on the glass coffee table. Victor Hale was the king of it all. 58. Silver fox handsome with a jawline that could cut diamonds. Founder of Hale Dynamics, the AI firm that powered half the surveillance cams in the city. He was untouchable, philanthropist by day, playboy by night, always flashing that megawatt smile on CNBC while his best friend shtick with my dad lingered like a ghost in old society pages I'd Googled in a panic that first night. The drawer was a mistake. Hale was out schmoozing at some gala, his private elevator dinging empty floors. And I'd finished the bathrooms early. Boredom's a bitch in a place like that, walls lined with first editions and abstract art that looked like spilled guts. I was wiping down the desk when my rag snagged on a brass pole, popping open a hidden compartment. Inside, a jumble of yellowed envelopes, a Rolex that hadn't ticked since the 90s, and that photo, slapped on like an afterthought, tucked between pages of a dog-eared ledger. I picked it up, heart thumping like a subway train, because the girl in the picture was me, same curly mop, same freckles across the nose. Dad's laugh lines crinkled just like I remembered from the few stories Mom told. But Hale.
God. Hale.
His hand rested on my tiny shoulder, fingers splayed like he owned us both. That's when the pieces started slotting in, jagged and wrong. Mom's endless shifts at the hospital, the way she'd flinch at mentions of old friends, the accident report I dug up years ago, Dad's blood alcohol 0. But the brakes tampered, ruled a freak malfunction. And Hale's rise, from scrappy coder to tycoon overnight in 98. The same year Dad died. Coincidence? Bullshit. I pocketed the photo, finished the shift on autopilot, but sleep was a joke after that. By dawn, I was neck-deep in public records, cross-referencing Hale's early patents with Dad's garage logs. Turns out, Dad wasn't just a mechanic, he was Hale's silent partner. The grease monkey genius who jury-rigged the first prototypes for what became Hale Dynamics facial recognition tech. Stolen ideas, buried blueprints, and a witness who drove off a bridge. Betrayal hits different when it's family-sized. I confronted Mom that weekend over lukewarm diner coffee in Astoria. The photo slapped between our mugs like a loaded gun. Her face drained white, hands shaking as she lit a Marlboro with the steady flick of someone who'd rehearsed denial 1,000 times. Layla. Baby. You don't understand. Victor.
He was family.
Saved us after your father. Saved us? That's when the floodgates cracked. Turns out, Dad discovered Hale fudging data, early tests on that AI that accidentally flagged innocent faces as threats. Sold to the NYPD for millions. Dad threatened to whistleblow. And Hale. Hale fixed it. Not with a check, but with a crash. Mom took the hush money, just enough to keep the lights on, and raised me on lies wrapped in love. He promised to watch over you, she whispered, tears carving rivers through her foundation. Watch over me? Like a hawk eyeing a mouse. I didn't scream. Didn't hate her, not yet. Instead, I walked out into the November chill, the city lights blurring through unshed rage, and vowed Hale would pay. Not with cash, that was his language. With everything. Revenge isn't a light switch, it's a slow burn. And mine started in the underbelly of Brooklyn, where ex-cops moonlight as hackers for a six-pack. I scraped together $5,000 from overtime and pawn jewelry. Hired Mickey Ruiz, a washed-up NYPD forensics guy turned digital ghost, who pored over Dad's death file like it was the Rosetta Stone. Tampered brakes. Yeah, he grunted over IPAs in a dive bar off Flatbush. But here's the kicker. Hale's limo service? They towed the wreck. And guess who signed a release? Victor himself. Threads unraveled from there. Hale's best friend, facade cracked wide, emails from the 90s. Scrubbed, but not deep enough. Showing Dad begging Hale to come clean. Then the kicker, Mickey's deep dive into Hale's offshore accounts revealed monthly deposits to Mom, disguised as charity from the Hale Foundation. Not gratitude, insurance. And me? The photo wasn't nostalgia. It was leverage. Toddler Layla. The human shield. If Hale ever slipped, that image painted him as the doting uncle, not the thief who orphaned her. But Hale wasn't sloppy. He was a chameleon, flipping scripts like a Vegas dealer. I tested the waters first, anonymous tip to a tech blogger about Hale Dynamics origins, framing it as stolen IP. By morning, Hale was on every podcast, spinning the yarn of two dreamers building from nothing, crediting Dad as his inspiration. Inspiration. The word curdled in my gut. He even donated a wing to a Queens community center in Dad's name, press conference and all, ribbon cut with that shark grin. Publicly, he mourned the tragic loss of a brother. Privately, Mickey uncovered burner calls from Hale to a fixer. Threats to bury the rat's spawn if she squeaks. That's when the tension coiled tight. I quit the cleaning job, too close. Too risky, but Hale noticed. A week later, my buzzer rang in the dead of night, a courier with a velvet box.
Inside. A diamond pendant.
The kind that screams apology without words. And a note in his looping script. Missed you at the tower. Layla. Let's catch up for old time's sake.
VH.
Old times. The audacity lit the fuse. I wore it to our meeting. A neutral spot, the Oak Room, Midtown's wood-paneled shrine to old money. He was there, scotch in hand, looking every inch the benevolent mogul in a Brioni suit that cost more than my rent. Layla Voss, he purred, standing to air-kiss my cheek, the pendant glinting like a noose. You've grown into quite the woman. Your father would be proud.
Proud.
The word hung between us, heavy as the fog rolling off the East River. We danced the dance, small talk about the city, my career aspirations, his latest TED Talk on ethical AI. But his eyes, those predator blues, scanned me like code. I know why you're here, he said finally, leaning in, voice dropping to that boardroom timbre that sealed billion-dollar deals. The photo.
It's
Sentimental. Your dad and I, we were thick as thieves.
thieves. Bingo.
I sipped my Manhattan, the bourbon burning a path to truth. Sentimental enough to kill for? His laugh was a thunderclap, genuine at first, then laced with warning. Drama doesn't suit you, darling. Your dad was my rock until the bottle took him. Tragic.
Yes.
But accidents happen. Lies. Smooth as oiled silk. I pressed. The tampered brakes. The payoffs. The stolen patents. He didn't flinch. Instead, he flipped, sympathy flooding his face like a bad actor. Layla, I've carried that guilt like a stone. That's why the donations. The foundation. Let me make it right. Name your price.
Price.
As if I was for sale. Like Dad's legacy. I named it. Equity in Hale Dynamics. 20%. Public credit restored. His smile didn't waver. But the air thickened. Charged like a storm front. Bold. I like it. But trust takes time. We parted with a handshake that lingered too long, his grip of vice promising more. That night, Mickey called. Hale's team had scrubbed my digital footprint. Job apps vanished. Credit dinged. He was closing the net. The months blurred into a fever dream of cat and mouse. I went underground, crashing on Mickey's leaky couch in Bay Ridge, piecing together the kill shot. Hale's empire had cracks, whispers of insider trading, AI glitches misidentifying protesters during the 24 riots, lawsuits buried under NDAs. But the real bomb was Dad's lost journal. Mickey tracked a carbon copy to a storage unit in Jersey, rented under Mom's maiden name. Pages of sketches, equations, accusations in Dad's scrawl, victors selling souls for stock ticks. I won't let him drag Layla into this hell. Armed with that, I leaked snippets to The Intercept, anonymized through proxies. Hale's stock dipped 8% overnight. Pundits on MSNBC called it the ghost of tech's past. He retaliated swift. Feds at my door with questions about corporate espionage. Mom's phone blowing up with veiled threats. She broke then. Full confession over a frantic call. He knows. Layla. About everything. The money. It was blood money, but it kept you fed. Betrayal doubled down. Her complicity a knife twist. I cut her off. The silence between us colder than a winter wind off the Hudson. Hale's next flip came unexpected. A white flag. Sort of. An invite to his private jet for a summit in the Hamptons, neutral ground. He claimed to settle this family feud. Family. The word slithered like venom. Mickey begged off. Too risky. But I went. The journal tucked in my Louis Vuitton knockoff, gift from a sympathetic bartender. Pendant around my neck like armor. The jet was opulence porn. Leather seats. Caviar bites. A flight attendant who looked like she'd modeled for Victoria's Secret. Hale waited at the airstrip in a chauffeured Bentley. Casual in chinos and a polo that screamed trust fund dad. We drove to his estate, a sprawling modernist fortress of glass and steel overlooking the Atlantic. waves crashing like accusations. Over lobster bisque in the solarium, he played the penitent. I was young, ambitious. Your dad. He saw the dark side before I did. I panicked. Tears?
Nah.
But close, calculated vulnerability. The kind that sways juries. He offered the deal. 15% stake. A foundation in my name. And the truth about Dad. It wasn't just the crash, he confessed. Voice cracking like fine china. He was sick pancreatic. Stage 4. The booze. Self-medicate. I covered it up to spare you the stigma. Lies layered on lies. But the hook sank deep. Stage 4? Mom never mentioned cancer. I probed, and he produced medical records, sealed. Official-looking. Timestamps matching the crash. Mickey later debunked them as forgeries. But in that moment, doubt wormed in. Was Hale the devil? Or just a man haunted by his own sins? We walked the beach at sunset. Salt air thick with tension. His arm brushing mine like the old photo. You're more like him than you know, he said. Eyes on the horizon.
Fierce.
Unbreakable. For a heartbeat. I saw it, the twisted kinship, the shared blood of betrayal. Then his phone buzzed. Stock rebounding. Leaks dismissed as sour grapes from a disgruntled ex-employee. Ex-employé.
Me.
The flip was surgical. He'd fed me just enough rope. Back in the city, raids hit Mickey's contacts. My face splashed on TMZ as the vengeful maid. Hale's PR machine painted me as the gold digger. Dad as the drunk who squandered genius on Jack Daniels. Mom went radio silent. Then the call. Suicide attempt. Pills and regret. She lived, but the damage festered. I was alone. Truly. The city's concrete jungle closing in. That's when the plan crystallized. Not a leak. Not a lawsuit. But personal. Hale's weakness wasn't boardrooms, it was ego. His annual gala. Black tie apocalypse at the Met, where the elite preened like peacocks. I crashed it. Forged invite via a bribed caterer. Slinking in a borrowed gown that hugged like second skin. The pendant gleamed under chandeliers. Drawing eyes, his included. He found me by the Egyptian wing. Champagne flute in hand. That smile masking the storm. Layla. Persistent as ever. We dueled in whispers amid the crowd. Accusations hurled like grenades. His denials velvet-wrapped barbs. You took everything, I hissed. Journal pages burning in my clutch. His life. His work. My childhood. He leaned close. Breath hot with scotch. And you'd throw it all away for what? Revenge? You're playing with fire. Girl. Walk away. Or burn. The room spun, dignitaries laughing. Strings swelling like a bad omen. I pulled the photo, waving it like a flag of surrender. This or this. Eyes widened for the first time. Fear flickered. He grabbed my wrist, steering us to a shadowed alcove behind a sarcophagus. Enough games. His voice dropped. Urgent now. The mogul mask slipping to reveal the schemer beneath. Your dad's journal? It's half-truths. He begged me to buy him out. Debts up to his eyeballs from the bottle. I said no. And he drove off in a rage. The brakes? Faulty from his own neglect. Another flip. This one desperate. Ally to adversary in a breath. He offered hush money again, 10 mil. Wired instantly. For your mother's care. For you to start over. Temptation clawed. Gray as the East River at dawn. 10 million could silence the ghosts. By Mama Brownstone. Let me vanish to California with sunsets instead of sirens. But the photo mocked me from his pocket, where he'd snatched it. No one right. No one wrong, just survivors clawing for air. I nodded, feigning capitulation. And as his shoulders eased, I struck, not with fists, but words. The gala's AV system, hacked by Mickey's last favor, blared the journal scans. Dad's voice, AI recreated from old voicemails, accusing Hale of theft. Murder.
Lies.
Screens flickered projected patents. Payoff trails. The forged records crumbling under forensic overlays. Chaos erupted. Gasps. Flashes popping like gunfire. Hale's face ashen under the lights. Security swarmed, but I was already slipping out a service door. Heart hammering. The pendant snapped and discarded in a trash bin. Sirens wailed blocks away. The Met locked down. Headlines brewing like thunder.
Elle est sans pire titorde et ses probes.
Class actions from glitch victims. The best friend, myth shattered on prime time. I made it to Mom's. The apartment reeking of antiseptic and despair. She was frail in her hospital bed at home now. Tubes snaking like accusations. Did you? She rasped. I nodded. The weight crashing. Victory? Or just another layer of ash? Hale's lawyers circled. But the damage stuck. Stock plummeted 40%. Board ousting him in a bloodless coup. He vanished to some island. Whispers of a tell-all book that never came.
But the twist?
Months later, a package arrived. The original photo, annotated in Hale's hand on the back. She was mine first.
Tommy.
Always will be. Tommy, Dad. DNA results clipped beneath. 99.7% match. Hale wasn't the best friend. He was the father. Mom's fling. Buried deeper than the crash. The betrayal looped eternal. I'd avenged a ghost for a lie. Spilled blood, metaphoric. But it stained, for a man who sired me in shadow. Do I reach out? Expose the final secret? Claim the throne he built on bones? Or burn it all? Walk away with the millions he wired in panic. A half-boss. Half-Hale, hybrid forged in fire? New York's still grinding. Indifferent as ever. And me? I'm staring at that snapshot. Wondering if revenge was the hook, or just the noose I tied myself. The fallout from the gala hit like a nor'easter, fierce. Unrelenting. Stripping layers I didn't know I had. By morning, my face was everywhere. The cleaner who toppled a titan on the Post's front page. Pixelated mug from some traffic cam. Eyes wild with that post-adrenaline glow. CNN looped the AV hack. Experts debating if it was justice porn or corporate sabotage. Hale Dynamics shares cratered to pennies. Employees jumping ship like rats from a flaming barge. And Victor? Radio silent. His Hamptons fortress shuttered. Private jets grounded by FAA holds. But silence from a man like him wasn't peace. It was the calm before he flipped the board. I holed up in a no-tell motel off the turnpike. Jersey side. The kind with vibrating beds and roaches that paid rent. Mom stabilized. Transferred to a state-funded rehab in Yonkers. Ironic. Hale's charity wing rejecting her as too high-profile now. Mickey vanished too. His Bay Ridge walk-up tossed. Last text a cryptic, watch your six, these got ghosts. Paranoia set in fast. Every shadow was a tale. Every burner phone buzz a summons. I dyed my hair platinum. Traded jeans for hoodies. Became Layla Voss 2.0, ghost in the machine. The DNA results burned a hole in my clutch. That 99.7% a scarlet letter I couldn't unsee. Hail, my father. Not the spectral hero I'd mythologized, but a flesh-and-blood architect of ruin. Mom's confession trickled out in voicemails I played on loop, a summer fling in '96. Dad oblivious. Hale's charm a drug she couldn't quit. He wanted you, she sobbed digitally. But Tommy. He loved you like his own. Victor backed off. Until the business soured. Backed off. The photo said otherwise, his hand on me, claiming stakes. And the payoffs? Not just hush for the crash, but for the paternity. A secret double indemnity. Doubt nod. Was the journal a forgery too? Dad's accusations. His genius, maybe embellished to mask addiction. Hale's cover-up a mercy kill of reputation. I hired a new fixer.
Elena Vasquez.
A Dominican PI with a nose for Wall Street dirt and a tattoo of La Virgin on her knuckles. Over empanadas in her Washington Heights office. She sifted the annex. Your pop? Clean as a whistle. Union logs show overtime. Not bar tabs. Hale's the drunk. Old club tabs from '97. Blacked out nights. Elena's web dives pulled court-sealed docs. Hale's first DUI. Hushed with a judge's cousin on payroll. The flip? Dad confronted him not just on IP theft, but Hale pitching the AI to mobbed-up developers, surveillance for Shylocks. Faces fed into the beast for hits. Deeper rot, the 24 riots. Hale's tech mis-ID'd me, wait.
No.
A doppelganger protester, as a rioter, doxed her family. But Elena found the glitch was deliberate. Algorithms tuned to flag undesirables based on bias training data Dad had flagged years prior. He died to stop this, she said, eyes hard. You avenged him mostly. Mostly. The words stuck. Gray as the motel walls. Hale resurfaced a week in, not with lawyers but a olive branch, a letter. Aaron. Delivered by drone to my Dropbox, Elena tailed it back to a Montauk safe house. Daughter. It began. That word a gut punch. You've won the war. But the peace? That's ours to forge. Meet me. No strings.
No strings.
As if. But the enclosure, a key to a safety deposit box in Zurich. Contents, your inheritance, legitimate. Legitimate. After billions laundered through shells, I debated torching it. But greed or curiosity won. Elena prepped the op. Private flight, chartered anonymous. Disguises. A Glock in my garter, NYC permits be damned. Zurich was crisp autumn bite. Alps mocking my turmoil with postcard perfection. The bank was a vault of discretion. Tellers in pinstripes who didn't blink at my forged ID. Inside, not gold bars, but files, Dad's original patents. Notarized transfers voided by Hale's fraud. A trust fund.
50 mil.
Seated in my name pre-crash. And a letter from Dad. Dated days before the wreck. Ladybug. If anything happens, know I fought for you. Victor's poison, don't drink it. Tears hit then. Hot and unbidden. The first real crack since the gala. Back stateside. The meat loomed. Hale chose neutral. A derelict pier in Red Hook, Brooklyn, where rusted cranes clawed the sky like forgotten gods. Dusk fell heavy. Gulls screaming epithets. The East River-lapping secrets. He arrived solo. Trench coat flapping like Batman's cape. Face gaunt under sodium lights. Aging bad since the fall. You came, he said.
No smile.
Just weariness. We circled like boxers. Words the jabs. The money's yours, he started.
No catch.
Consider it. Immense. Immense. I laughed, bitter as battery acid. For stealing my life? Or fathering it in secret? His flinch was real. First genuine tell. Your mother.
She chose Tommy.
I respected that. Until he turned. Turned? The flip again. Victim now. Eyes pleading. He blackmailed me, knew about us. Threatened exposure unless I gave him the company. Lies. But laced with half-truth, Elena's files showed Dad's loan requests. Desperate for Mom's chemo? Irony. Her cancer predated his. Hale spun it. I paid. But he wanted more. The crash? He staged it. Insurance scam gone wrong.
Staged.
The word ignited. I lunged. Glock out. Pressing to his temple. Cold steel on warmer skin. Prove it. He didn't fight.
Just sighed.
Pulling a thumb drive from his pocket. Recordings. Your dad.
Drunk.
Plotting with a chop shop buddy. I snatched it. Backing off. Heart a war drum. We stood there. River wind whipping. The city skyline a jagged judgment. Walk away. Layla, he urged. Voice cracking. Or become me alone. Rotting in what-ifs. I lowered the gun. But not the fire. The drive? Elena cracked it later. Fakes. Voice mod sloppy under scrutiny. Hale's last gambit. Flipping to corner me legally. Entrapment bait. But the encounter shifted something, his eyes. Mirrors of mine. Pleading not for mercy. But connection. Father-daughter. Twisted as it was. I wired the trust to Mom's care.
Vous êtes so.
And ghosted deeper. Winter clamped NYC in ice. Holidays a farce of tinsel and takeout. Protests swelled. Hale's falls sparked anti-AI marches. Faces masked against the machines he'd birthed. I joined. Incognito. Chanting for the misflagged. The framed. One night. Torching an effigy by City Hall. A rioter unmasked Mickey. Haggard. Ribs showing. Hale's not done, he wheezed. He's rebuilding offshore. With Saudis. Your leaks? He spun as martyrdom. Martyrdom. The ego of it. I rallied. Elena's network expanding. Coders. Journos. Even a rogue Hale exec spilling on black site tests. AI dosing psychotropics via smart homes. Guinea pigs in Queens walk-ups. The op coalesced. Infiltrate his new venture. Apex Neural. A ghost corp in Delaware. I applied as consultant. Clean resume. Platinum hair shield. Interviews dragged. Virtual till the final. Hale himself. Via secure link. Eyes lighting when he recognized the alias. Layla. Come to finish the job. I played coy. Redemption arc.
Beak.
Teach me the ropes. He bought it or pretended, hiring me on probation. Relocation to a Wilmington loft. Up close. The Empire's husk, skeleton crew. Paranoia thick as fog. Hale was spectral. Chain-smoking in a corner office. Flipping between tyrant and tutor. Watch, he'd say. Demoing Apex's ethical upgrade, bias audits. Transparency pledges.
Lies.
Elena confirmed. Back-end code mirrored the old beast. Now predator for hire. Tension built like a spring, late nights pouring code. His lessons laced with probes. Ever wonder what Tommy saw in you? Flips constant. Mentor 1 hour. Interrogator the next. Dangling family secrets like bait. I endured. Planting virals. Siphoning data. Mom rallied. Calls tentative. Come home. Baby. It's over. Over? The photo on my nightstand said no. Climax brewed in a boardroom showdown. Apex's pitch to venture vultures. Holograms dancing deals. I was there. Junior analyst. Thumb on the kill switch. A worm to nuke the demo. Expose the rot live. Hales sensed it. Cornering me pre-show. You're his daughter. All right. Stubborn to the grave. His hand on my arm. Grip fatherly now.
Pleading.
Don't. This tech saves lives, predicts cancers, stops shooters. Gray again. Demos showed miracles. But Elena's intercepts revealed the underbelly, sold to dictators. Faces of dissidents queued for deletion. The room filled. Suits and sharks circling. Hale took the podium. Charisma reignited. Spinning Apex as salvation. My finger hovered, pull, and he crumbles again, hold. And maybe. What? Partnership? The worm itched. Decision a razor. He glanced my way. Eyes locking. Trust me?
They begged.
Betrayal's echo. Dad's ghost whispering no. I pulled. Screens glitched. Codes spilling like guts. Victim logs scrolling. Rioters doxxed. Families shattered. My face among them. The glitch from 24. Unmasked. Gasps. Then fury. Investors bolting. Hale's face crumpling, not rage.
But sorrow.
Layla, he mouthed, as security dragged him. Chaos swallowed us. Sirens closing. But the twist lingered. A barb in victory. In the melee, a flash drive slipped into my pocket, his unnoticed. Back in a loft. Cracked, not threats, but home videos. Toddler me, giggling on his knee in that 97 beach house. Mom laughing off camera. Dad grilling burgers oblivious. Our little secret, Hale's voiceover. Tender. Then the fight. Dad storming in. Accusations flying. Hale's plea. She's mine, let me provide. Dad's refusal. The bottles smashed. A shove, Hale tumbling. Head cracking stone. Self-defense? Or push too far? The gray deepened. No monster. Just men breaking under weight.
I vad sker till dawn?
Tears for the family we never were. Apex folded. Hale indicted, RICO charges. Life in Supermax. Mom passed quiet in spring. Forgiving note. Love wins. Even twisted.
Me?
I cashed the trust. Vanished to Portland. Rain-soaked streets.
No ghosts.
But the photo stays. A debate eternal. Avenger or orphan. Right or ruined. NYC fades in the rearview. But the burn? It lingers. Portland's drizzle was a bomb at first, soft. Forgiving. Washing the grime of Gotham from my bones. I bought a craftsman bungalow in Selwood. The kind with creaky porches and blackberry thickets strangling the fence.
Site un sim via Zillow.
50 mil buys anonymity easy. LLC shells for the deed. A new name, Lena Voss. Nod to the old without the weight. Days blurred into routine. Farmers markets hawking kale and regret. Barista gigs for cover, old habits. Nights with craft IPAs and true crime pods dissecting my saga. The Hale heiress, they called me now. Podcasts spinning yarns of patricide light. I laughed at first, then stopped. Mirrors showed a stranger. Eyes hollow as the Hudson at low tide. The drive's videos haunted. Looped on a burner laptop till pixels bled. Hale's plea that night on the pier, don't become me, echoed in the rain-pattered eaves. Become him? I already had. Scheming in shadows. Flips of loyalty, like channel surfing. Elena checked in sporadic. Her network a lifeline. Vic singing to feds, naming names. Yours not among mercy or strategy, banking on blood ties for appeal? I ignored the itch to visit. Supermax in upstate New York, a bridge too far. Spring thawed the Willamette. Cherry blossoms mocking my stasis. Mom's ashes scattered in Astoria per her wishes, clifftop vigil. Waves claiming what the city couldn't. There, amid salt spray, a stranger approached, tailored wool, salt and pepper beard, accent Boston clipped. MS. Voss, or should I say hail? Harlan Crow.
Alle Dynamics, XFO.
Ousted in the coup but rich enough for revenge tours. Coffee at a pier shack. Steam rising like interrogations. Victor's rotting. But the tech? It's out there, black market. Worse hands. He slid a dossier, Apex remnants. Peddled to cartels. Facial wreck targeting migrants at the border. Guilt twisted fresh. My worm hadn't killed the beast. Just lamb at it. Harlan's pitch. Fund a buyback. Ethical hackers. Scrub the code. Your inheritance. Redeemed. Redeemed. The word soured. But the gray pulled. Hale's miracles weaponized. Innocence paying my vengeance tab. I signed on. Anonymous donor.
Wiring Sidvia Caimans.
Harlan's crew. Punks in hoodies. Ethicists with PhDs, set up in a Pearl District loft. Me ghost consulting. VPN deep. Flips started subtle. Harlan's reports glossy. But Elena's audits flagged skimmed funds, 10% to ops, vanishing into his offshore.
Confront or play long?
Like Hale taught, I embedded a tracker. Watched the flow to a vineyard estate, Harlan's. Bottles of Opus 1 flowing. Betrayal's echo, but smaller scale. Meanwhile, Supermax whispers. Hale penning letters. Unsent. To L. Me. Elena smuggled one. Pages of scrawl. Not defense, but confession. I pushed him that night. Lena. The bottle flew. Tommy lunged. I stumbled. He hit his head on the hearth. Panic took the rest, staging the crash. Payoffs to silence. For you. To inherit clean.
Clean.
The lie crumbled further, self-defense twisted to murder by fear. Videos corroborated. The shove. Dad's swing wild with booze, real this time. Logs showed a bender. Gray infinity. Victim or villain. I wrote back. Anonymous. Why me? Reply swift. Because you're the best of us both. Fierce heart.
Sharp mind.
Don't waste it on hate.
Hate.
Was that the fuel? Or the chain? Summer scorched the northwest. Wildfires choking skies orange. Harlan's op escalated. Raids on dark web auctions. Code seized from a Tijuana server farm. I flew under Elena's wing. First time airborne since Zurich, disguised in a Seattle Mariners cap. Heat mirage over the border. The bust was cinematic, federals storming a warehouse. Servers humming like hearts. Faces on monitors, kids. Mostly. Tagged for trafficking. Harlan's team torched the drives. But not before I glimpsed one. My toddler mug. From the photo. Flagged as asset, protect. Hale's doing? Or coincidence in the dataset. Back in Portland. Paranoia peaked, tires slashed. Porch cam glitching with shadows. Harlan called it blowback, but his eyes darted. The flip came brutal, a midnight knock. His face at the door. Gun drawn. Victor's pulling strings fed you the letters. Funded me to watch. Watch. The inheritance? Bait. A long con to lure me out. Testify for his appeal. He's your father, Harlan sneered. Blood calls. I disarmed him self-defense class. Post-gala paranoia. Zip ties from the junk drawer. 911 on speed dial. Cops hauled him. Spilling. Hale's prison network. Bribes for intel. Harlan the pawn turned blade. Indictments piled. Harlan for fraud. Hale for conspiracy. I testified remote. Voice modulated. The courtroom a Zoom square of suits. His face on feed thinner. Eyes locked on the camera like communion.
No, please.
Just a nod. Thanks.
Or sorry.
Appeal denied. Life.
No parole.
Victory's ash again. I'd saved the tech, but chain myself deeper to his web. Fall leaves turned the bungalow blood red. Isolation a slow poison.
Elena visited.
Bearing IPA and advice. Cut the cord.
Chica.
Start over, for real. Start over. I tried. Dating apps. Hikes in the gorge. A rescue mutt named Tommy. But nights. The videos played. What if scripting alternate lives? Hale raising me in towers. Dad sober and distant. The debate raged internal. Nurture the fire. Or let it gutter. Then the package. No return. FedEx ghost. Inside, a final reel, VHS. Dusty. Labeled 96. Popped in an old player. Static crackling to life. Beach house. Summer haze.
Mom.
Young and radiant. Cradling newborn me.
Hale.
Awkward in swim trunks. Offering a pinky promise. I'll always protect her. Dad enters frame. Beer in hand. Grin wide, oblivious. Loving. They toast. 3 shadows merging. Then fracture. Argument off mic. Mom's tears. Hale's exit. Cut to Dad alone. Rocking me. Whispering. You're mine. Bug. Forever. Tears now. Cathartic flood. No monsters, just flawed souls colliding. I burned the reel in the backyard pit. Flames devouring the last thread. Elena's right. Over.
But the twist?
A postscript note. Hale's script. Forgive or forget. Your call.
Daughter.
Debate eternal. But I chose door 3 live. Portland's rain returned. Cleansing. The photo? Framed now. On the mantle, not trophy. But talisman. Avenger no more. Survivor. Maybe sage. Winter's grip on Portland was merciless, winds howling off the Cascades like banshees. Snow dusting the blackberries into brittle lace. The bungalow creaked under it, a fragile shell against the storm, mirroring the fragile piece I'd stitched from the tatters. Tommy, the mutt, curled at my feet, his wheeze a metronome to my midnight scrolls, news feeds archiving Hale's trial, pundits still picking bones. Tech Cain and Abel, one quipped, me the unnamed Abel with a vengeance streak. Elena relocated south. San Diego sun calling. Our calls dwindled to holiday cards. Her life blooming with a girlfriend and grant money for AI ethics. You did good. Lena, she'd sign off.
Good.
The word chafed. Too binary for the spectrum I'd walked. The note's question lingered. Forgive or forget?
Arubikesh kiwud ansailad.
I chose neither. Or both. Acknowledgement without absolution. Visits to Supermax?
Nah. Too raw.
Too risky with paparazzi drones buzzing borders. Instead, I funneled trust remnants into a foundation, Voss Legacy. Quiet counter to Hale's flash. Grants for indie coders. Bias-busting tools for communities of color. Scholarships for Queen's kids eyeing STEM, sans the strings. Mom's touch, nursing tracks included. Her ghost in the fine print. Spring teased with crocuses, but betrayal's shadow stretched long. A ghost from NYC pinged, the temp agency boss. Voice oily over encrypted line. Opportunity. Layla, Hale's old rivals. Hiring for consulting. Clean the mess you made.
Clean.
The irony bit, I hung up, but the seeds sprouted doubts. Was my redemption just another empire? Mini Hale in yoga pants? Elena's warning echoed. Power corrupts subtle. Mija. I audited the foundation, clean.
But the board?
Ambitious types. Eyes on scale. Whispers of VC cash. Flips infiltrated domestic. A board member. Slick as Harlan. Pushing partnerships with, get this, Exhale Dynamics remnants. Reformed, he swore. PowerPoints gleaming with ethical pivots. I balked. But the gray tempted. Their tech, sanitized, could amplify impact. Late-night debates with Tommy, one-sided. His input limited to tail thumps. The photo staring from the mantel like a jury. Dad's grin. Hale's possessiveness, bloodlines blurring ethics. Decision crystallized in a boardroom brawl. Virtual again. Me railing against the tie-up. Voices pixelated but sharp. This is laundering, I snapped. There's sins on our dime. The slick one flipped. Or evolution. You're naive. Voss. World's not black-white. Naive. The accusation landed. Hale's echo. I walked, resigned, dissolved the board, folded Voss into a solo op. Smaller now, but mine, direct grants.
No mid-lemon.
The burn of control, a fair trade for solitude. Summer solstice brought heat waves. The Willamette a steam bath. I kayaked it solo. Paddles slicing secrets. When the call came, burner to burner. Voice distorted. But cadence familiar. Daughter.
Hale.
Somehow. Prison hacks bending rules. Static crackled. His words deliberate. Heard about the foundation. Proud.
Proud.
The word detonated old wires. We talked, or he monologued, 60 minutes bought with God knows what. No pleas for release. Instead, stories. The beach house as kids, his silver-spooned. Dad's garage fixes, saving his first prototype from scrap. We were brothers. Till ambition fractured it. Fractured. His flip final, not villain. But cautionary. The shove? Mutual. He swung first, debts. Drink. My affair with Ellen. But the staging? Mine alone. Guilt's my cell now.
Ellen, mom.
Affair. The revelation sideways, not fling. But ongoing. Dad, the blind cuckold. Gray abyss. Love triangles lethal as boardroom coups. Why tell me? I whispered. Paddle idle. Current carrying me. So you choose better. Forgive yourself first.
Click.
Line dead. But the echo thrummed. Forgive myself? For the gala worm. The lives upended. Hale's. Harlan's. The innocence in crossfire? The debate peaked that night. Bonfire on the beach at Sauvie Island. Tommy roasting marshmallows his share. Flames licked the dark. And I fed it scraps. The DNA clip. Harlan's mugshot printout. Even a lock of Mom's hair. For the mess, I toasted the sparks. Ashes scattered on the tide. A ritual unburdening. Fall harvest brought bounty. Farm stands overflowing. My life too.
Tentative.
A barista named Jax. Tattooed barista with a poet's lilt. Sparked over flat whites. Shared scars. NYC exiles. Dates unfolded slow. Powell's readings. Microbrew crawls. His hand in mine a anchor against what-ifs. You're a mystery wrapped in badass, he grinned. Oblivious to the saga. I let it lie, Lena Voss. Clean slate. The photo tucked in a drawer like a closed chapter. But twists don't tie neat, they knot. November gale howled. Power out. When the knock came, insistent, flesh on wood. Jax was away. Tommy barking frenzy. Door cracked. A woman. Mid-40s. Rain-slicked coat. Eyes mine but softer. Layla?
I'm
Your aunt. Victor's sister. Claire.
sister.
The word reeled. She pushed in, dripping apologies. A bottle of Napa Cab as peace offering. Stories spilled over candlelight. Hale's youth. The family fortune from oil, dark irony. His fall a pattern, stolen startups. Buried siblings. He spoke of you.
And
Said you were the redemption he never earned. Redemption. Claire's angle, co-heir to the remnants. A codicil in his will naming me. Her as trustee. Take it or burn it. The empire's husk. Patents public domain now. But residuals, royalties from licensed tech. Enough for lifetimes. Jax walked in mid-pour. Piecing the puzzle. His woe, a bridge to normalcy. We three talked till dawn. Ethics. Empires. The photo produced like evidence. Claire's flip gentle. Not conquest. But connection. Family's messy. Doesn't have to be poison. Debate raged group now. Jax's pragmatism. Use it for good. Scale the foundation. Claire's caution. Lock it away. Live free. My core churning. Weeks blurred. Lawyers in Portland high-rises. Docs dissecting the codicil. Hale's intent clear. Legacy to the best of us. I signed partial. Royalties to Voss 2.0. Global now. Elena roped in as co-director. The rest? Donated to reparations funds. Glitch victims' trusts. Gray balanced. Not black-white. Holidays dawned crisp. Jax's family in tow. Raucous Italians. Pasta and probes. I came out partial. Complicated dad. Long story. Laughter bridged gaps. Tommy begging scraps under the table. Claire integrated slow. Thanksgiving pie. Her stories filling blanks. Hale's childhood pranks. Dad's visits as Uncle Tommy. The beach house idol before fracture. New Year's Eve. Fireworks over the river. I stood with Jax. Claire toasting from afar. The photo, back on the mantle. Reframed. Not betrayal's barb. But mosaic 3 faces. Flawed loves. Hale wasted in his cell. But his last gift. Choice. I chose live, messy. Debatable.
Mine.
Portland's lights twinkled. A skyline softer than NYC spite. Revenge's arc bent full. From cleaner to catalyst. Betrayed to bridge. No tidy end. Life's not script, but in the gray. I found color. Forgive? Halfway. Forget? Never. And that, maybe, is the win.